thinking a lot lately about the unintended aspects of the curriculum or the way that we design learning, and this whole idea of a hidden curriculum, which I think is really interesting and really important. I'm fascinated by this concept of different realms of reality around the curriculum. So there's the curriculum the way that we intend it to be, the designed curriculum, so to speak, or the planned curriculum, and that's where we think about our intended learning outcomes, and we can wrestle with issues like constructive alignment and so on. And then there's the curriculum as actually delivered. So that's where things like resource limitations and structure of a classroom, the actual nuts and bolts of delivery come into play, the quality of teaching and so on. And then there's the curriculum as actually experienced by students, and sometimes that can be they can have unintended elements. It's very difficult to predict. There's going to be unintended learning outcomes, which is another concept that I really like. And then a whole nother dimension of that is the so-called hidden curriculum. So those sort of unwritten, unspoken rules of learning, of society, of the context within which learning happens, that have a huge influence on what is learned and what is considered important. I think connection there as well to the identity of learners, who they feel they are within that local ecosystem of learning. So really fascinating ideas, and what I find particularly interesting about it is that this so-called hidden curriculum is really only hidden from the people who are designing learning, so the curriculum developers, the curriculum designers, the teachers. It's certainly not hidden from the learners who are kind of experiencing it very vividly all the time. So I suppose there's an invitation there for learners to, I guess, be more conscious of those elements of the hidden curriculum. What aspects of the curriculum are they experiencing that are simply not on the radar of the learning designers, of their teachers? And is there value in learners communicating some of that hidden curriculum back to the teachers, to the learning designers, so that they can be more conscious of it and more aware of it, and be mindful of the impact that it's having on learning? So to my mind, this is where education gets really fascinating, because this is a clear link between education, the nuts and bolts of learning, learning design, curriculum design, and anthropology, the culture within which learning happens. Learning always takes place within a cultural context, within a cultural setting. There's no such thing as learning or education that exists in a vacuum. The better we can come to understand those cultural dynamics, and having an anthropological perspective is very helpful in that regard, then the more effectively we can cultivate the conditions for effective and long-lasting learning experiences. So that's my thought for the day. The fascinating area of overlap between education and anthropology, and the impact and influence of the cultural dynamics within which education and learning takes place.